In the past 12 months, I've created 97 landing pages for my products. Most of them were sales pages for selling courses, for selling an ebook, and for one for selling a webinar. In the past 12 months, I've sold just one course, one ebook, and failed to sell a webinar. You read that correctly. I built 97 pages just to sell one product and one ebook, because that's what successful entrepreneurs do. They pick one product, they focus on selling that one product, and they experiment with the sales pages to sell that product. There are many different structures, there are many different ways you can create sales pages. There's content you can put, different types of content, different copywriting styles you can use. But the goal is to find that one sales page that will sell your product, your service, your webinar, your ebook consistently. And the way to do that is to learn from what others have done in a similar niche, in a similar category, selling similar products, and then continue to experiment, continue to change things around, test things out, and figuring out what works for your specific product or service. And this is what I did for 12 months. I've built a number of sales pages for my interview guidebook. I've built a number of sales pages for my LinkedIn course on how to create your profile and make it create an executive presence profile on LinkedIn. I've built a number of sales pages for a couple of webinars that I put together, but I never pursued that at that time. But I will do that in the near future. And when I do, my first go-to step would be to go find a webinar sales page or somebody who's selling something similar to what I want to sell. Look at how they're doing it, and if they're successful, try to copy their structure, try to copy their overall feel, and then figure out the language, the content that fits what I'm trying to sell, that will fit what my customers, my leads like to see, like to learn, like to read about. So that's the idea. Over the last 12 months, I've developed my own style for building sales pages, and I've developed my own structure that I use as a starting point, where any sales page I begin, I follow this structure, and then I begin to modify, I begin to change, I begin to experiment depending on how I drive traffic in, how my sales are doing, all of that kind of stuff. The structure is pretty simple. It follows standard sales page structure across the board. There's you have your masthead, which is the top part of the sales page that you see in the beginning. Probably the most important part of your sales page, because 80% of the people will likely make a decision whether they want to buy from you. And let me rephrase that: 80% of leads will likely make a decision about whether they want to buy from you based on just the top of your page. And then the rest of it is about convincing them and showing them that they're making the right decision. Then there's the problem section. This is where you want to talk about the problem that your product or service is going to be solving. You want to agitate some of the pain points that you've learned about in your interviews with your potential customers and leads. You want to make them feel the pain a little bit in their minds when they read this particular section. Then you follow by talking about the benefits. What the people are going to get, what your customers are going to get after buying and then using or the product or learning from your product if it's a course. So you want to nail those outcomes, those benefits. Then there's an optional section that I use I call show the product. And this section is about showing what the product looks like. If it's a course, talking about what you get in the course, what chapters you're going to have, what each chapter is going to talk about, what the structure of the course looks like, how you're going to deliver it, things like that. If it's a physical product, it's about showing the physical product, what it looks like, maybe showing it being used by somebody. The next section I like to use, and this is another optional section, is before and after. So it's just like a comparison, 2 columns before you had the product. This is what your life looked like. after you've gotten the product or service, this is what your life is going to look like. So you want them to see the difference between before and then after your product, the transformation that they have. And there's two more sections. The pricing section is where you talk about the price. You list all the features that you included in your price, and you give them the price. Don't hide the price ever. And if you have multiple pricing options, so that allows people to compare, so you have the light version, the medium version, and the professional version, for example, list them all out, show them the differences, give them the price so they can make a decision. And then I finish off with an FAQ section where I answer some of the questions that people might have, and I also try to address some of the objections that I think people might have about buying that product. The last section is really for the extreme skeptics. 90% of the people will probably get to the price, and if they've already been convinced at the very top that they want your product, or they've been convinced that they want your product because of your email marketing, they will just buy your product. If they're super skeptical, the objection handling, the FAQs, should convince them. And if it doesn't, you can include some another more specific objection section to kind of get them over the line. And that would be it. If you can't convince them at that point, then you can't do anything about it. Now, with the testimonials, a lot of the times people will include testimonials in their pages, and that's a good thing to have testimonials. And from my experience, when I go look at a page that I've never seen before, testimonials have a very important effect for me, because I see it, there's a lot of people like it. Okay, now I'm thinking about this person, thinking about this product, thinking about the service. Maybe it's going to be something useful if it promises to solve my problem. But that's just cold look at the page. If I've already been exposed to somebody who's selling a product for a while through either email marketing, through videos, through whatever other medium, reading their articles, testimonials don't really have an effect on me anymore. It's just maybe that's one little thing. But if I'm already convinced about the problem and the solution that this person has talked about, I'm more likely to already buy without even considering testimonials. So testimonials play a very big part for me at the very beginning if I don't know the person, just to get them for me to be convinced that this person is actually an expert in the field, in the category. But if I'm already aware of the person, if I'm already trusting the person as an authority on this subject, testimonials don't have that big an effect on me. It might on you, it might on some people. So there's different types of categories. It's not a end all. So you can include a testimonial, 2, 3, 4, or if you have a lot, you can include as many as you want, and that will just get those people who are extremely skeptical maybe over the line. But if you don't have testimonials yet, don't worry about it. The goal is to get them into your leads funnel, and then nurture them so they trust you, so they become aware of you, so they become more open to your ideas, to your thoughts, to your ways of solving problems. And once you've created that relationship with them through email marketing, testimonials really don't add that much to it. They already trust you as a person of experience, of expertise, so they're more likely to buy. So the hard work is done before they actually get to the sales page. Sales page should just be a formality. Sometimes sales pages are just simple. Here's the list of what you get, click buy. That's it. You don't really need much more, depending on what you're selling, of course. If it's something more expensive, then you have a little bit more convincing to do. If it's a cheaper product, like $100 and below, the simpler the page, the better, and all of that. On the importance of the masthead, the very first thing that people see, there are 4 elements basically that you want to include there. You want to include a headline, something that talks about the outcome that you're going to provide for them, the big benefit, what you're going to get if you do this. The sub-headline will talk about how that benefit will be achieved. Now, that benefit could be a problem, solving a problem, or getting something that they want, more money, for example. That's an always easy to find, easy to see benefit all over the internet. The sub headline is about how you're going to give them that benefit or how you're going to solve that problem, followed by a VSL. And a VSL is a video sales letter. Its job is to allow people who like to listen, watch videos instead of read, to give them all the information that they need. So what it is, why they need it, what's the outcome, and how much is it going to cost? What do they need to do to get that? So that's the VSL. 2-3 minutes max of you talking to camera, explaining what your product does, how it's beneficial, what problem it solves, why they need it, what they're going to get after they buy it, how much it costs, and where to get it. Click below. And the where to get it part will always be that fourth element of the masthead, which is the CTA, call to action, which is above. Takes you to either scrolls you down to the pricing section so they can see what the price is, and then from that on they'll take you to the actual sales page, pricing page rather, payment page, or you'll take it directly to the payment page depending on how you want to set it up. All of these things, the structure, all of these things is all about finding the right thing that works for you, for your product, for your service. Structure is similar across the board, but the details, the minute nuances here and there, it's all about your product, your service, you as a person, how you sell, and all of these things. All right, so this has been the anatomy of the sales page, and I will see you tomorrow and talk to you about the secret. And also, if you want a roadmap to get your first 1,000 leads for you to help you do the hard work of sales before the sales, check out the link below in the description.